Maybe you're thinking about trying your first half marathon, or maybe you've done a few half marathons, but you feel like you haven't quite got it figured out. In either case, there are 5 really common reasons that people tend to have a bad race in a half marathon. Fortunately, they're all really easy to fix. The thing that happens when runners have a bad half marathon is their body breaks down in the final 9 kilometers, or at the final 5.6 miles for us American pals out there. You see, a half marathon is a really challenging thing for our bodies to do, and even more challenging to do it well. If we haven't trained our bodies to hold up to the pounding of the race, we'll slow down drastically towards the end of the race, and sure, we might finish, but we'll be spending a ton of time not enjoying the experience, and we'll feel like we didn't perform our best. Fortunately, it isn't hard to avoid this. Our training plans just need to be structured in a way that builds us up to give us the ability to run strong and proud all the way to the finish line so that we can feel like we did our best. What's up, motivators? My name is Taryn. When ordinary people want to accomplish something extraordinary in endurance sports, they choose unlimited motive training plans for as low as $14.99 a month. You're ready to take on that next big challenge? Let's do it. The first issue, and this is really common for runners, is that they start the half marathon without a pacing strategy. Then what always happens on race day is the excitement of the crowd, the race, and the runners around us cause us to run the entire first 3 to 4 miles of the race way too fast, which we pay for at the end of the race by walking. I've been guilty of this myself, running the first 5 kilometers of the run in a half Ironman at 1:24 half marathon pace. Well, I died about halfway through the run and finished it in 1 hour and 44 minutes. It felt terrible. To avoid this disaster, we just need these 3 steps. Number 1, calculate the range of your approximate race pace by doing a running time trial, then entering the result in the calculator that is in the description below. Second, in your training, do some running intervals at the pace range that we got from step 1. Our training plans tend to do this once per week in a tempo run like the one that you see on screen. This will develop our comfort, body awareness, and our ability to run that pace on race day. Finally, on race day, follow that pace range. The first few miles of a half marathon are liars. We will all feel great at the start, but we need to hold ourselves back so we can hold our pace from the start of the race all the way to the finish line. Next, let's get into the training that will make us able to actually run that pace on race day. The most common error that I see, that I committed in preparing for half marathons, is not making the long run long enough. A lot of runners, myself included, will run just generally long to prepare for a half marathon. Or maybe they'll run almost the length of a half marathon. But this length isn't long enough. To build the endurance needed to run a half marathon really well, we like to get our athletes to do an over distance run like this one on the screen from our half marathon training plan. An over-distance run is where we run really slow, but longer than the distance of the race. This way, our bodies will have all of the endurance and then some, so that the distance of the race itself isn't an issue at all on race day. Gradually build up your long run week by week by about 8 to 10% until you can do this over-distance run around 4 to 6 weeks out from race day. Then in the remaining weeks, your long run can be a little bit shorter, but with some of those race pace intervals from point number 1 thrown in towards the end of the long run. The next issue, and this is one that will probably make the biggest difference in every single race we do, is running at the wrong intensity in our training. Most runners run too hard on our long and slow days and too slow on our fast interval days. Our training plans absolutely obsess over getting the training zones correct. At the start of our training plans, we should be doing 2 tests to nail down our training zones. The first one is on the screen right now, and it's a workout that our athletes do to figure out their heart rate training zones. Starting with a small warm-up, then without stopping, we do 1 mile at fast tempo pace to bring the heart rate up, then 400 meters as fast as possible, then another 400 meters pushing harder every 100 meter interval. Take the highest heart rate that you achieved in this test and your resting heart rate and enter it into the calculator that is linked in the description, and you will get your heart rate training zones. Your long runs and easy runs should be in your zone 2 heart rate range. To get pace training zones, our athletes do a similar workout with a nice little gentle warm-up, then some dynamic stretches, then a 3-kilometer time trial as fast as possible. Enter the result of that time trial into another calculator that's linked in the description below, and we will have our pace training zones. Our interval runs should then be in zones 4 and 5 as determined by pace. The fourth thing that happens to a lot of half marathon runners is that their body tends to just break down towards the end of the race. This was the case for me in my first couple half marathons. My back ached so badly that I could hardly keep running. A lot of runners have similar issues because stabilizing our bodies through 21.1 kilometers takes a lot of strength and durability. And most runners just don't do much, if any, strength training. To solve the issue of the body not being strong enough to handle the duration of a half marathon, we need to do strength training. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Just one 30-minute strength workout per week is enough for us to get our bodies functioning well and being durable enough for the race. Our training plans use kettlebells and body weight for all of our athletes' strength training because with just $100 to $200, we have all the equipment that we need to strength train extremely effectively, build a lot of stability by keeping those kettlebells stable, and cover every single muscle group. Finally, we can do all the training and pace strategizing that we want, but if we don't have a nutrition strategy for the 18 hours leading up to and including the race, we're just not going to have the fuel to perform at our best. To keep this video short, I'll provide 4 quick pointers on this. First, for dinner the night before the race, have a larger than normal meal that has a lot of carbs. Second, eat breakfast on race day 4 hours before the start of the race. It should be a small meal that's mostly carb-based. Third, calculate the amount of nutrition that you need during your race with a calculator that's in the description, and we actually include workout and race nutrition calculators directly into every single workout in our training plans to make sure that every single workout is correctly fueled to get the most out of them. Finally, take the amount of calories that you calculated from step 3 that you need to perform well in the race. Take your first serving of race nutrition from that calculation 20 to 30 minutes before the start of the race. Then 20 to 30 minutes after the race starts, and then every 20 to 30 minutes thereafter. These tips might seem simple, but putting them all into practice together can be a lot for new runners to remember, which is why so many athletes have a hard time in the half marathon. The good news, though, is that a half marathon is actually a relatively simple race because it's a very easy 1.5 to 2.5 hour energy system that you just need to get nailed down. And if you can get these things nailed down, you will have a race that not just reaches your goals, but probably surpasses them. You're ready to take on that big challenge, and when you train with Motiv, you will be ready on race day. If you want all these tips put into a training plan that is personalized exactly for your abilities and your goals, check out Motiv. It is the only app in the world with training plans designed specifically for ordinary people who want to accomplish something extraordinary in endurance sports. Start by trying it for free. And finally, click the video on the screen. I mentioned that you will need to run a lot of your runs at a low heart rate in your training. This is really hard for runners to do, but this video takes you through the entire process you will need to make it easy on yourself. Later, motivators.